apparently you guys were out at my property last night.
We did come there early this morning, late last night. I don't remember the time.
For what?
She was saying that she wasn't able to leave or to get her truck out, so we went there to contact you and talk to you, figure out if you wanted her trailer gone, or if there was like a civil agreement. We didn't know if there's a civil agreement or if she's paying rent, or we literally have no knowledge of the trailer, who owns it, nothing. So we're just getting the information from her that she couldn't leave and couldn't take her trailer. So we went out there, make sure she can safely leave, which she did, and that was it.
So she's making false reports, man. I'm gonna have stories be told about me, so I have to take a record. Yeah, all women tell stories. You're already up here making up crazy shit about how this happened, so I have a story that's not normal for my channel that I need to put out there because I'm put in a position where I have to put it out there now, apparently. So I guess I should probably start at the beginning. As most of you know, I have, recently within the last 9 months, split up with my kid's mother. And after the split, I decided I wanted somebody to spend some time with. And I wanted somebody to hang out with because I do live out in the middle of nowhere. So I got on Facebook dating and talked to a few different people, but ultimately met Heather. I'm not going to tell you her last name, but I met this woman named Heather who was originally in Arizona and then went to Florida. And when I started talking to her, she was in Florida. Long story short, she agreed to come out here, pulling her fifth wheel trailer with her 4 dogs, her 2 cats, and her 6-year-old son. At first, she was going to stay on BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management, and just camp outside of my property, and then come and hang out and get to know me. But to be honest with you, I thought that was kind of weird, so I told her I have 37 acres, you can just park your trailer here, and that's what she ended up doing. But before she parks her trailer here, she has to get here. And on the way from Florida to Arizona, she ended up breaking down on the last leg of the trip in St. John's, Arizona. Right outside of St. John's on the way to my property, which is about 25 minutes away from where she broke down at. Crazy that she drove all this way and her truck decided to break down right there. And that happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. So she didn't have cell phone service. I went to pick her and her son up for the night. We came back to my property, slept for a few hours, and then I took her back to get her trailer and it was gone. Apparently, in the few hours that we were gone, the St. John's Police Department had come over to her trailer and towed it. Towed her trailer, her truck, impounded her 4 dogs, took a shotgun from her, impounded her 2 cats. That was a nightmare to get everything back, but ultimately, with the help of my friend Courtney, who you guys know as Secret Savage, we paid for everything and got her truck and trailer towed back to my property. Once her truck and trailer was at my property and everything was fixed and she finally got settled in, she ended up getting her son enrolled in the local school and things seemed to be going okay. But I started to notice little things that bothered me. A lot of little things that bothered me. Some of it I'm going to have evidence for in this video. Some of it is just my word and what I observed because I wasn't collecting evidence against her in real time. I was just seeing things that bothered me. I didn't think that I would have to even make this video. So some of it didn't get recorded or documented, but some of it did later on when things got wild, but we'll get there. An important piece of context to this scenario is I have a friend of mine that lives on my property that's a female. And Heather was very jealous about that. And that was a big portion of her problem here. Mine was slightly different. So after she got settled in, she started ingraining herself in my life is the best way that I can put it. She got everybody's phone number that I was willing to give her, which was a few, not everybody's, but a few people's phone numbers. And she started making friends with my neighbors and getting real friendly with my friend that lives here. And I thought that that was cool at first. But then it started to seem a little bit weird. So I logged it, kept it in the back of my mind for later reference. What I felt like she was doing is isolating me. But at the time, I didn't realize that. And then I started to discover that she was a liar about little inconsequential things that you don't need to lie about. She would lie about where she was going. She would tell me she was going to the gas station, but she would be gone for 5 hours, which she's allowed to go wherever she wants. It's just weird when you ask somebody where they're going and they tell you something and it takes a lot longer than it normally should. One of the lies that pissed me off the most is when she came home with a dog that she didn't tell me about. Now, keep in mind, on my property, there were already 6 dogs here and 3 cats at the time, plus goats and chickens. So we did not need another dog, but a dog showed up here. And I only discovered it because her other dogs were attacking it, and I ran out the house to see what was going on and peeked inside of her trailer and saw a little puppy in there. So she had brought home a puppy, put it in her trailer, and this was during the time when my friend Michelle had broke her leg and she was recovering on that couch right there. When I confronted Heather about the dog, she said that it was a surprise for me for her son's graduation, and then that changed to it was a Mother's Day gift for her, and then that changed to it was going to be a surprise gift for her son's graduation. So it was a gift for me for her son's graduation, her for Mother's Day, or for her son's graduation. And I had been trying to get my friend moved into her trailer so we could all have our own space, but that didn't seem to be happening at a rapid pace. And then as soon as I went out there and saw that puppy, I understood that she was trying to avoid putting anybody in there and was trying to keep us away from the dog. And then on top of trying to keep us away from the dog and not telling anybody about it, she co-opted her son to lie to us. She told her son not to tell us, that it was a surprise for me. So she tells everybody that it's a surprise, even her 6-year-old, for whatever selfish reason that she wants this dog. Ultimately, I made her get rid of the dog. Some other things that bothered me, now that we're talking about dogs, is the fact that she had so many and they were so skinny. She only fed them once a day, which I understand some people only feed their dogs once a day, but I have a high energy dog that I have to feed twice a day. And you can't see his ribs. He looks healthy. Her dogs cannot be spoken for the same. Her dogs seemed very unhealthy, and on top of that, she never spent any time with them unless she was outside for brief periods every couple of days, and that's it. She was very neglectful with attention towards her dogs. And it's unfortunate that I have to also say she was neglectful with attention towards her son. And this is ultimately my biggest problem with Heather and why I started not liking her being around. And she'll tell you that I was mean to her. I was, and it came out in probably the wrong way sometimes, but it all stemmed from the way she treated her son. And it's not like she was mean to him per se. She didn't beat him. She didn't starve him. None of that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is emotional neglect. So I have a separate detached studio building over there that I eventually asked her to move her son into because she had been keeping him in a fifth wheel the whole time with a locked door and a bunch of dogs in there. So I told her to move him over here where he has a yard and space and he can come outside and play and be a normal 6-year-old. And it bothered me that she didn't spend any real quality time with him outside of taking him to school, taking food over to him. It was almost like he was in jail over there. She was constantly over here obsessing about me and begging me for my attention. And that bothered me. I don't know how else to explain that to you, but as a father of 3 small children myself, having a woman that has a 6-year-old, but she is leaving him somewhere else while she's over here trying to get the attention of a man really rubbed me the wrong way. Really rubbed me the wrong way. It didn't get any better, and I started to resent her and be angry at her because of how I saw her treat her son. At some point, we got a camera so she could monitor him over in his room. And when she put the camera up, there was a monitor over here so I could see what her son was doing too. There were a lot of times when he would be sitting on his bed, rocking back and forth, and putting his head into a pillow, or taking one of his color books or books and hitting himself in the head with it. Well, it looks like a 6-year-old is bored out of their mind. And that shit really started to bother me. And I started to tell her that. But she didn't want to hear anything about her son, and I don't blame her. It's not my place. He's not my son, but he was living here, so I feel responsible to say something about it. And keep in mind, these are just little pieces of the whole puzzle of why she's gone. But that was one of the bigger pieces. The dogs and her son and how neglectful she was, because she put them all in the same room and just left them there unless they needed food or water. There was no mind paid to the attention or emotional needs that they had. Something else that started to bother me is Heather takes a lot of prescription medications that I don't really like. And I understand people need those things sometimes, but I lived around this woman for 3 months. I'm not going to say that she doesn't have problems, because she does have legitimate health and pain issues. I'm well aware of that. But I highly suspect that she is mismanaging her pill use. I don't think she's necessarily abusing her drugs or her prescriptions, but she's taking too much. She's not taking enough. It's making her seriously emotionally unstable, or she would be whacked out of her mind on her Adderall out in my yard raking it for 4 hours. Really bothered me, because as much as people like to make fun of me or talk shit, I do have a past of being a drug addict. But in my adult, I'm going to be 37 this year. So in my adult years, I am extremely against prescriptions, illegal drugs, any kind of shit like alters your body outside of smoking a little weed, as everybody knows. And there would be times when she would have her jaw cocked to the side, and I'd call her a tweaker. Tell her, you look like a tweaker. How much of your medication did you take? I wasn't nice about it. I don't want anybody to think that I was being nice during this period when things started to deteriorate with her, because I wasn't. There were a lot of things that I started to notice that I didn't like. There's a lot of little psychological games that were being played between her and my friend that lives here, because she didn't like that there was another woman here, and that's understandable. But she came here knowing that she was here. The fact that I had a friend here that was a female was the icebreaker, if you want to call it something like that. The straw that broke the camel's back. She really didn't like that there was another woman here in what she was starting to consider her space. And she tried to set boundaries and get control of the situation, and I wouldn't let her. I had made an agreement with my friend that she can use my house and use my shower, my bathroom, and my house if it gets hot, till she had her own place set up over there. That was the agreement that I made with her. I'm not going to detour from that because some woman is jealous that another woman is using the same amenities she's using. And I'll save you all the boring stuff that happened in between. There's a lot of little things with this chick that just drove me up the wall, and it came to a head one day when my friend had come inside at about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was starting to get hot here in Arizona, and she sat on the couch over there, and Heather was sitting right here doing some kind of arts and crafts stuff, telling me she's going to leave at noon. And as soon as my friend sits down, she shuts down, puts her arts and crafts stuff away, pulls a blanket over, and looks like she's about to take a nap. I asked her several times, are you okay? Is there something wrong? Are you all right? That kind of thing. She said, I'm fine. Well, as soon as my friend leaves, I asked her, what's your problem? Why are you shutting down like this? I'm trying to work right now and you're messing with that. And she didn't grasp that concept when you edit and live stream and stuff like that. You have to be in a good mental state and a good mood. And somebody creating this black cloud over here is messing with that. So I confronted her. And she started almost being aggressive with me. I guess it's hard to say that, but just a deviation from how she usually spoke to me. Way more volume in her voice, way more direct, talking to me crazy shit. Our conversation started peaceful, but it devolved quickly to me screaming and yelling at her because she was complaining that she was in here for too long. Heather knew that my friend lived here. She came here with that full knowledge. She knew the whole situation, but yet wants to create a problem when my friend comes and sits on my couch for too long and tells me that she's hanging out. I don't want her hanging out in here. I told her, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I told her that she could. Well, I don't want her to. Well, sorry. And I'll save you all the nuance because it's not really important, but we went from a yelling argument to, well, she needs to leave or I'm going to leave. And I told her, well, I guess you're leaving then. Because I told my friend that she can stay here and I'm not going to deviate from that because you don't like that there's another woman around you. She was very jealous. And all that started on Tuesday. That whole situation started on Tuesday. She didn't end up getting off of my property till Sunday. It took me almost a week to get this woman off of my land. And she's already been on the internet claiming that she broke up with me and that I was refusing to let her leave. I am so thankful that I have witnesses and video and text proof that that is not true at all, not even a little bit. I have been at my wit's end trying to get this person off of my property. I have threatened them with legal stuff in an attempt to motivate them to move faster to get off my property. I have screamed. I have tried everything legally possible for almost a week to get her off my property, and it was a nightmare. I've never dealt with anything like this. During the whole getting her off my property shit, she kept going over to my neighbor's house and trying to play like the sympathy, the single woman with the child card and the mean man over here that's being mean to him. It was crazy what she was doing. And then I come to find out she's sending text messages to everybody that she had ingrained herself with, telling them that I'm keeping her, so I'm trying to keep her stuff, I'm trying to keep her here, that I'm being mean to. I don't even know what all she told them. All I know is that I called my friends and they told me that she was telling us crazy shit, trying to get money and sympathy from us. And this is all while I'm trying to make her leave, mind you. So the whole shit starts on Tuesday. From Tuesday to Thursday, it's back and forth. I'm trying to help her and be nice and make sure that I'm not just putting her out into the wind for nowhere, telling her if you need to stay here a little bit longer till you have a place, until you have somewhere to go, I'm cool with that. And then I was trying to set boundaries and it seemed like everything was cool. And then she would go over to my neighbors and do some weird shit, or she would just go disappear and not be packing her stuff. It started to get annoying as fuck is the best way to put it. She's been online claiming that I refuse to give her power. I refuse to give her food. I refuse to give her water. That's bullshit. I've got text messages to prove otherwise. And that's going to be put in this video. She claiming that I'm trying to keep her shit. Absolutely not. I made sure she got every item of her stuff. But come Thursday, I get a call from a woman that I work for. And it's a woman whose credit card that I actually have. I'm on the account, so I have her credit card. I'm an approved user on the account. And she calls me and says, hey, the credit card went over. And I said, I haven't used it since the 20th, I believe. And she brings up on her computer while I'm on the phone with you, mind you, and says, well, somebody on the 24th had purchased a hotel and pizza. So I immediately texted Heather and confronted her about illegally using my boss's credit card when she did not have permission. And here's some text messages about all that. She openly admits to stealing the credit card information and using it to purchase a hotel and pizza. And her excuse for this is she thinks that I was playing power games with my electrical power, but the reality is that my system had been pushed to the max with her running 6 fans and a TV and a light over there when I told her not to. It actually cooked one of my $800 solar batteries, so half of my solar bank wasn't working and my power was going out that day. So I would go outside to turn my generator on, and my generator runs off of propane and it's hot outside. So I would come back in, my generator would run for about 5-10 minutes and then it would shut off. And she would text me and say, why are you shutting the power off? And I'm mad at her at this point. So I would just tell her, that's what you get. The power is really going out. She doesn't know what's going on because she's not coming over here. And I'm dealing with my electrical shit. So she thinks that I'm messing with the power. She ends up taking her kid and leaving, and going and buying this hotel using my boss's credit card information and pizza for her son. And literally an hour, maybe an hour and a half after that, I pulled the bad battery out, fixed my solar system, and got it running again. And I texted her that. I also told her that I was just fucking with her and I was mad and she was blaming me for the power going out, so I was playing along with it. While she's gone and me and my boss are discovering that there's credit card usage that wasn't approved, I confront her. She admits to it. Here's the text messages. And that's the deciding factor for me not letting her just hang out and make sure that she's got somewhere to go. She's went from somebody that's just jealous and trying to do some weird controlling stuff in my house to a thief. So it changed the entire scenario in my head. I told her, you need to get here, you need to pack all your shit, and you need to leave immediately. You're a thief. I don't trust you anymore. That same day, I went and locked my Connex. I went and locked my studio. I locked all my stuff, picked up all my expensive stuff that was in my yard, make sure all my vehicles were locked. Because if she's willing to steal my boss's credit card information, spend money on a hotel and pizza when she has her own trailer that I've been telling her to pack and get her shit out of here with, what else is she willing to do? For a woman that claims that she's been living on the road in a nomadic lifestyle for 6 years in that trailer, to think that she needs to go and steal somebody's money at a hotel and get pizza when she's been in that trailer and she has someplace else to go. That's my building over there. These are my buildings. She came here with the trailer. She could have went out into her trailer, but she decided to be a thief and use money that wasn't hers. Ultimately, she came back, started packing things up very slowly. It took her from Thursday to Sunday to get out of here. And during that time, it was a nightmare. Thursday to Sunday was probably the worst time, when she was playing her little games with everybody, texting my friends, going to my neighbor's house, playing weird games with my neighbors. I'm texting my neighbors, is she over there? And they're being weird with me because she's over there telling them stories, trying to get sympathy from them. Ultimately, she asks my neighbors if she can move over onto their... I'm trying to get her off of my property, and she's over at my neighbors trying to move over there. Do you understand how crazy that is? She's over at my neighbors playing little story games with them. They're being weird with me. And I'm telling my neighbors, dude, I'm kicking her out. Why is she over hanging out at your house? She needs to be over here packing her trailer up and leaving our neighborhood. I don't understand how neighbors don't understand you don't get involved in somebody's shit unless you know what's going on. And some woman coming over there with stories is not knowing what's going on, unfortunately. So she's creating weird stuff with my neighbors while I'm trying to get her to leave. Anyway, there was a lot of back and forth drama with my neighbors and me trying to get her to leave and her trying to manipulate everybody that I'm trying to make her stay. Apparently my neighbors are encouraging her, well, you should call the police so you can get out of there. Well, I'm trying to get her to leave, but she's over there making it seem like the manipulation and mind fuck she was doing around here was next level. I've never dealt with some shit like that, but I've also never dated a drifter before either. So anyway, let's skip to what happened Sunday. Sunday was my neighbor's birthday party. So apparently she had been dragging this out so she could go to my neighbor's birthday party one last time before. I don't know what the mentality is here. Leave. I wanted her to leave so bad, you have no idea. But she goes over to my neighbor's house and hangs out. And this is the day when I've had enough. And I've told her that my boss is going to report you for credit card fraud if you do not leave my property by the end of the day. So she starts packing everything up, asking me for that little thing. I get all of her stuff, every little thing down to her freaking ice packs, which I ended up having to leave at the sheriff's department. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway, all her little stuff down to her tampons, her solar stuff, everything. I made sure everything was out of my buildings and by her trailer so she could pack it up and leave. And she starts packing it up. But mind you, while she's packing everything up, she's got a trailer with 3 slides on it. And a slide is a pop-out. It's a pop-out that makes the trailer wider, gives it more space. She's got 3 of those that are open. So she can't pull it or go anywhere until those are all in. And I've been telling her all day, pack the stuff up around your trailer and put your slides in so you can get ready to go. So I guess the birthday party was on Saturday. So all this happened on Saturday. Sunday's when I actually dealt with the police, which we'll get to here in a minute. So on Saturday, she goes over to my neighbor's house, does the party thing. And on Friday, I had parked my truck in front of her fifth wheel. That was the next day after we found out that she was doing credit card fraud and stealing money when she didn't need to. On top of stealing the money from my boss, she texted her and asked her if she could get a hotel. My boss never responded to her, didn't give her permission. She spent the money anyway. And she got caught on Thursday, and my boss texted her and confronted her with the theft. She didn't apologize. All she had to say is thanks a lot. But I parked my truck in front of her trailer so I can be there when she leaves. I have to back my truck up so she can hook up to it. And when she's ready to do that, when her slides are in, I was going to back my truck up so I could make sure she didn't leave with any of my shit. And after the party that she has over at my neighbor's house, it ends at 9 or 8 or some crap, whatever. She leaves and is gone for hours, stops packing her stuff, goes over there, comes back at 9, 8 o'clock, I don't remember, and then starts packing her stuff again, but I end up falling asleep. So she starts spam texting me. Move your truck, I'm gonna move it myself. And she stops texting me at midnight, which is when I had told her that you needed to be gone by the end of the day, which she was presuming was midnight. So she stopped texting me at midnight, and come to find out that she had actually called the sheriff's department on me, the Apache County Sheriff's Department, and tried to report me for fucking kidnapping. Drink that in for a minute. Because my truck was parked in front of her trailer. Now, of course, the sheriffs came out here and saw that she was not being prevented from leaving. Her vehicle was not being prevented from leaving, which negates any kind of unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping, any kind of nonsense like that. They told her that it was a civil issue and that she should probably leave the property and get a court order if she needed to, because that's the only way that they could do anything. And later on that day, or earlier that day, I had told her, because she threatened to call the cops on me because I was blocking her trailer. And I told her, you're not even ready to leave yet and you're a thief. So I'm going to make sure that when you leave, you don't do it with any of my shit. I don't want any of yours, but you're not going to leave with any of mine. She threatened to call the cops on me. And I told her to do it. I'll talk to them right now. They'll come out here and they're going to tell you it's a civil issue. And that's exactly what happened. And she got real butthurt about that. So she calls the cops. Cops come out here at 1 o'clock in the morning while I'm asleep. Don't knock on my door. She leaves, they leave, nothing happens. Next morning comes around. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, about 5 o'clock. And sometime thereafter, I go outside, I get in my truck, and I move it away from the front of her vehicle because I see that her slides are in. And she's not there. So I take a picture and start texting her. Come get your shit. I moved my truck. Looks like you're ready to go. I don't remember what I said exactly, but here's the text messages. And I get no response to any of these text messages. And she's not here. It's Sunday morning. And we go probably 4 hours of not knowing what's going on. I'm texting her over and over and over, calling her. And then I start getting in touch with her friends. And then I had my friend that lives here call the Apache County Sheriffs and inquire about her whereabouts, see if she got arrested, if she's in a mental hospital, or if something happened to her, because we were legitimately concerned. She left here emotional and she just disappeared with her son. She left her dogs here. She left her trailer here. Her trailer door was open when I went out there. Her dogs were running around my yard. So it seemed ominous. It seemed weird. So we called. They said she was okay. And probably an hour after we called and were told that she was okay, we were assuming that she was institutionalized based off of how the sheriffs told us that. My neighbor texts me and says she just showed up over at his house with some more sob stories about me. But I had sent them screenshots of her text messages and our communications, and they confronted her and basically told her to piss off. So she leaves and doesn't come back over here. So I'm texting her, no response. No answering her phone, nothing. She just showed up at my neighbor's, but she's not answering her phone. Very strange. I go on Facebook and I Facebook Messenger, and that's when I start getting communication with her. And she starts telling me that she can't legally come over to my house. I can't legally go over there, Dane. You can't legally go over there. She's like, I can't legally go over there, playing some mind game shit. and then claims that she's got to go get a court order and is very non-specific about what kind of court order she thinks she's going to get her trailer when I'm telling her to come here and get it. I've sent her pictures that it's not blocked. You have your slides in, come and get it. But she's telling me I can't. I've been told I can't. I got to get a court order. During this time, her trailer door keeps opening and her dogs keep getting out. And this keeps going on and on and on, and it's getting hotter out, and her dogs are in there panting. Every time they get out, they're looking for my goat's water. So I make the decision that we're going to call animal control. And I asked my friend, can you call and see if somebody will come and pick these dogs up so they're being taken care of, because she's just abandoned them on my property. My friend calls the sheriff's department and gives them our location. And the sheriff's department tells us that they were actually out here that night, or that morning, or night, whatever you want to consider it. And that's how we figured out that she had called the sheriff's department and tried to report me for kidnapping because her trailer was blocked in. Of course, I called the Apache County Sheriff's Department and talked to this person. I mean, I recorded the phone call, so I'll put it in here. And she wasn't very nice, wouldn't tell me a whole lot, so I had no idea what was going on. And then my friend got a phone call from a Sergeant Ellington, I believe. And I had told my friend that if anybody calls you again, give them my phone number and have them call me because I want to know what's going on. And during her phone call with the sergeant who was trying to talk to her about the dogs, she gave him my phone number and the sergeant called me. And that's when I asked what was going on, and here's how that conversation went.
Hello.
Is this Christopher?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Sergeant Ellington with the Sheriff's Office. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I just talked to Michelle. She told me to give you a call just so I can touch base with you about getting the trailer and dogs. She called in saying that the dogs are inside the trailer, Heather's trailer. She wants picked up, so we're happy to do a civil standby to grab that stuff, and that way the dogs are taken care of and stuff. But she wanted me to call you first, so I was just giving you a shout.
Were you the one that talked to her originally?
No, sir, I haven't talked to her. I was Deputy Stewart, and I talked to Michelle, and there's definitely some miscommunication somewhere along the lines, and didn't really know where, but
I feel like I'm being treated like I did something wrong here, and I've been trying to get this woman off my property since Tuesday.
Right, yeah, and that's what Michelle was saying, and we,
like whoever's the dispatch right now is being very terse with me for no reason. I'm trying to call and figure out what the hell's going on, get these dogs taken care of. Like, did I miss something here? Apparently you guys were out at my fucking property last night.
We did come there, early this morning, late last night, I don't remember the time.
For what?
She was saying that she was able to leave or to get her truck out, so we went there to contact you and talk to you, figure out if you wanted her trailer gone, or if there was like a civil agreement. We didn't know if there's a civil agreement or if she's paying rent, or we literally have no knowledge of the trailer, who owns it, nothing. So we're just getting information from her that she couldn't leave and couldn't take her trailer, so we went out there, make sure she can safely leave, which she did, and that was it.
So she's making false reports, man. You need to write a criminal complaint up for false reports. I'm not keeping her from leaving. She literally texted me the Arizona revised statute about kidnapping when, I mean, you know who I am. I've been to prison for fucking kidnapping. And I'm not kidnapping her. She's completely able to leave. This is my property. I can park my truck wherever I want. And I told her last night, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I told her, you need to hurry up and get your shit packed. I'm getting tired. And then I fell asleep.
Okay.
I fell asleep, and then she's psycho texting me. She's texting me telling me I'm going to move your truck myself. So she's going to smash into my fucking truck or something? Like, this is crazy, dude. This shit's crazy. I've been trying to deal with this calm, cool, and collected. I messaged her on Facebook an hour ago and told her, come get your stuff. I will leave if I need to. I don't need to talk to you. I don't need anything. Like, and she's just playing this, no, I can't come there legally. I got to go to court and get a judge's order. Like, no, you don't. There's no judge that's going to keep you off of my property. No, I haven't trespassed her. I haven't trespassed her. I haven't told her she can't get her shit. There's nothing blocking her trailer.
That's where the communication and this kind of misunderstanding has kind of gone that's why I'm just calling you to get it figured out.
There is no misunderstanding, because the deputy that called Michelle said that she gave you all of our text messages. And if that's true, then you would see the ones from last night where I told her, once you have everything packed up, let me know and I'll come out there. So it's not a miscommunication. There's lies that are happening here. There's false reporting that's happening here. I mean, you guys want to see my text messages? Send a deputy to my property right now and I'll show them everything. This is ridiculous. I'm not keeping her stuff. She can come get it right now.
Okay.
I'm not trying to do anything.
I'll give you a call back if I can get a hold of her and she's able to meet us out there. We'll come out, do a self standby, grab her stuff, and then that way she's gone and get more stuff off your property. And then
do you have an email that I can email you screenshots of messages that I've sent her today since 5 o'clock this morning about her trailer?
Yes, sir.
Things that she's responded to?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Another thing is I work for people in Arizona, and she took credit card information and stole $200 from me, and the person whose credit card it belongs to reported it already to the credit bureau, reported her card, canceled the card, and is going to be calling, I'm assuming, the Phoenix Police Department. She lives in Phoenix, so she's going to be calling the Phoenix Police Department, and the Phoenix Police Department, I'm assuming, is going to contact the Sheriff's Department about credit card fraud. So this is part of why you guys are being called and this game's being played right now, is because she was told that she's going to get reported. So she's trying to manipulate and turn this around on something. I'm not a fucking idiot. You guys know exactly who I am. I'm not going to commit crimes or do anything dumb.
Right.
I mean, you know I'm Direct D, right?
No, I'm familiar, and we're not accusing you of anything. Honestly, and the information that she provided Deputy Stewart, I talked with Deputy Stewart, but I haven't read any messages. I haven't done it. I went out there with her, and obviously her truck wasn't locked in. She was able to drive it out.
Did somebody knock on my door?
And no, we didn't knock on any door.
Why not? I would have answered. I would have come out and fucking moved my truck, dude. I'm just making sure she wasn't stealing my shit.
Yeah, no, I understand. We didn't know the whole situation, and it was I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and if you were sleeping, we weren't gonna be, waking you up and causing more of a problem than it's already been for you. So
I really wish you would have instead of this. I can't tell you how stressed I am right now, man. I've got my neighbors that she keeps going over to my neighbor's house, like playing weird shit. Like this is, I hate to be like coarse about it, but like stage 5 clinger shit.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I understand, and we'll get it taken care of today, and that way she's
okay.
No longer.
One more thing. The deputy that called Michelle, you said Stewart. He told her that you guys have had issues with me before. Maybe she's mishearing what he said. Like maybe he said you guys have had contact with me or something. But I want to make it abundantly clear that I do not have any issues with the Apache County Sheriff's Department at all.
Okay. Deputy Stewart's new. He's only been working here for a couple months. He worked in jail, so he's getting this information. I don't know, from other deputies or other stuff that.
Yeah, I'm not a problem for the Sheriff's Department. I haven't stopped at one of your traffic stops. I haven't gone to the court. I haven't gone to the police station. I haven't bothered the St. John's Police Department. I haven't gone to I haven't gone anywhere in Apache County and fucked with anybody.
We're not saying you have it all. We didn't even have a phone number for you. She wouldn't give us your phone number yesterday or anything, so we didn't have. I just got your number from Michelle just 5 minutes ago. So
she wants me to leave, but she wouldn't give you my phone number. What the fuck?
I know. We tried to get it, just like, let us call him and talk with him to figure it out, get the other side of the story, see if we can go out there and stand by while you grab your trailer and make sure, none of your stuff is getting taken and everything would be good. But she didn't want to give it to us.
Are you the day shift supervisor?
Yeah, I'm the weekend supervisor, so I work all weekend.
Okay, so another thing, I don't know if you guys have already made a note about, when I stream and people call in and try to swap my property or tell you guys that I'm doing crazy shit because of what I do on the internet. I don't know if I need to make a note with the department. You have my phone number now, so if you could officially put that somewhere, so if there's a problem, the sheriffs can contact me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will.
I don't want any problems, dude. I had enough problems in Maricopa County. I mean, if you know who I am, you know about my warrants. I'm wanted in Maricopa County, and I want nothing to do with that shit anymore.
good to hear. I mean, we don't want any issues with you. We're just doing our job, and we shouldn't have even really, been involved in this. It should have been just handled civilly.
I told her it was a civil issue.
Yeah, the fact that it got escalated to the point where, we're having to get involved. We're happy to help either way, whether it's a civil standby, whether it's, obviously that's our job. So that's what we're here to do. But no, we don't want any issues with you. We're not accusing you of anything. Nothing like that. So.
I don't have any problems with the sheriffs either. I actually have a lot of respect for the sheriffs in Arizona.
Well, I appreciate it. Let me get a hold of Heather and see what a good time for her to meet us out there, and we'll get it all taken care of, all right?
All right.
After talking to the sergeant, it became apparent that she reported me for some kind of kidnapping or unlawful imprisonment. They had come out here, and as you heard, they deemed that there was no illegal issue that they needed to act on, that it was a civil issue. They told her that she should probably leave and just get a court order, that they didn't want confrontation. They weren't going to knock on my door. So they left. And I messaged her and I said, how did it feel to have the cops come and do nothing for you, just like I told you that they would? She probably wasn't happy about that. But after I got off the phone with the sergeant, shortly after that sergeant and I believe a few other officers came to my property and did a civil standby so Heather could get her trailer and get off my property. And they did that without issue. They left, and after they left, she continued to message me about things that were here after she was here with my friend who had a key to everything and could have went and got all this stuff that she wanted. Basically, she was looking for reasons to keep contacting me and a reason to keep coming back here because she's obsessed. So all the little things that she asked for, I gathered up, which was a coat hanger, her cat, and some Yeti ice blocks. I couldn't find her cat, but I did find the coat hanger and the Yeti ice blocks. I bagged everything up, and at 7:30, 8 o'clock Monday morning, I drove up to the sheriff's department with my friend and dropped off her stuff in the parking lot. Because the sheriff's department refused to take the stuff. They didn't want anything to do with it, so fuck it. I left it in the parking lot, sent her a picture of it, and said, your stuff's in the parking lot. This concludes our involvement. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I told her that she's a really bad mother. I told her that she needs to spend more time focusing on her child's needs instead of trying to find a man to satisfy her needs all the time, because that's really what she's doing. She's a drifter that bounces from guy to guy seeking attention, and she emotionally neglects her child in the process. And I don't agree with that. I don't want to be around it. Once I started to figure out that's what was going on, that's when things started to deteriorate. But as some of you have seen, that wasn't the end of it. I blocked her. I told her that I wasn't going to talk about her on the internet. I wasn't intending to make a video like this. I wasn't intending to out her at all. But what is the first thing that a scammer and a thief like that does? They will go to somebody's enemies because they can manipulate their enemies into believing that they have some valuable information to pay them for. And that's exactly what she did. She went over there and grifted a bunch of money off of people that I have been talking about on the internet for a while. I thought it was quite comical. I have a drifter, basically homeless person, that I just figured out all this shit about her, goes over to these guys and does the same manipulation on them that she's been doing on me for months. It's crazy. So we'll see if this goes somewhere else or if she has more to say. I do have all of our messages. She's claiming that she doesn't have her phone. I think it's quite convenient how she has snippets of our conversations, selective editing type shit, but she can't find her phone. Well, that's not going to work in your favor because I have my phone and I have all of our messages and I'm not deleting any of them. I don't think I actually can delete any of my text messages considering that they're evidence of credit card fraud. I want to apologize for even subjecting you to watching this video and listening to anything to do with my personal life, but this woman's going on the internet claiming all kinds of heinous shit about me, and the only truth to any of it is that I'm mean and that I called her names and I'm an asshole. Outside of that, none of that shit's true, and I think silence wouldn't be a good idea. Unfortunately, I can't let somebody go publicly and claim all kinds of dumb shit about me and not have some response to it. Because then it just makes it seem like she's being honest. And she's playing this single mother with a child card to a T. So if you fall for that kind of stuff, and I feel bad for you. And then after she leaves a bunch of garbage in my yard. And these blow all over the place. Somebody has a gambling problem. She doesn't work, doesn't make any money. She sells all her shit off like a tweaker. And then I find a shitload of scratchers and $30 lottery tickets all over my yard. I don't gamble. I feel really bad for her son. Her son is a good kid and he doesn't deserve the environment that he's living in right now, with his mom dragging him all across the country, trying to find happiness in all the wrong places. Hopefully this is the last video that I make about this, because I want to make another one. But I do have to put all of this out there because you're not going to talk shit about me and get away with it. Especially when I haven't done anything wrong.